Kakalosh Boker Tov, Shavua Tov. In Siman Resh Lamed Bet, in Shulchan Aruch, it's going to speak about the importance of Tefillat mincha and why is it called like that. Why exactly is the entire concept, why is it so important? So the Magen Avraham in the introduction to this Siman brings down the Tosafot and Pesachim, Tav Kuf Zayin, and he says, why is it calling it mincha? Right? Amai karu mincha. So if it's going to be because they brought the korban, right? He says the mincha. He says what? In the morning they also brought the korban with the tamid shel shachar. They also brought the mincha, right? Was the flower offering. So we know that just like tamid shel shachar, tamid shel ben arbaim, right? With the shachar, right, which is a korban tamid, they used to bring a mincha, a flower offering. So too in the afternoon. So he says, so the Tosafot come and they answer, since Eliyahu Navi was only answered during the time of Akravat mincha, which is during the time of mincha, that's why they called it on the name of the mincha of Eliyahu Navi. Which means Eliyahu Navi, we know he was a Navi, but still, he was only answered during the time of the mincha, so therefore from then on we called it the mincha. The Tosot Yom Tov brings the name of the Ramban in Parashat Bo, that mincha is actually lashon of minuchat ha-shemesh ve'ashket oro agadol, which means that really be'emet, it's not because of the korban, but rather when the sun is setting, so now what happens is that this is called that the sun is coming down, and it's quietening the great light that it has, just like the Targum is the Manach Yoma, and therefore that's why it's called the Mincha. There are also other reasons brought down. Magen Avraham brings down the Yerushalmi that it's al Shema Ketoret. Right, we just had this week's parasha was the Ketoret, so it's the Ketoret which was brought during this time. Al Shema Pasuk Tikon Tefilati Ketoret Lefanecha Masak Kabel Minchatarev, and there, and also the Sefer Kadosh which is called Kedushat Levi. There's the Rav Levi Yitzchak ben Barditchev. He says that in Tefillat Shachrit we're obligated to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu that He gave us back on His Shema. On Tefillat Arvit we're giving HaKadosh Baruch Hu the pikadon in order that He should give it back to us willingly. And Tefillat mincha is our present, and that's why it's called a mincha, which is a nedava or a matana. So we have a few different reasons why is the Tefillah mincha called, right, the extra. Now according to this, we also understand why the Tefillat mincha is the most important tefillah in the day. Some people in the morning, right, okay, so it's still before work, so they could come to Shachrit, and then they go to work, and then they forget about everything the entire day, right? Even Arvit, for some people it's much easier, because you're already finished, you're already home, so now you're going to say Arvit. But Tefillah mincha is smack in the middle, right? It's right there. However, though, if you're going to learn that it's a present, we know that the most precious thing, right, that you could actually show to a king is not that I'm doing what I'm obligated to do. But if you come, and even to your wife or to a spouse or to a boss, and you come and you say, hey, listen, buddy, right, my boss, listen, I'm very loyal to you. He says, why? No, because I do exactly what you tell me. Well, Chazak Baruch, I want you to show me where you go above and beyond. I want you to show me that you're actually loyal in something that I didn't ask you to do. And you're still going to do it because you're loyal, whether it's to your company, whether it's to your spouse, whether it's you're loyal to your loyalty. So therefore, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it will be the same thing. So because of that, it's important to understand the reasons behind the Tefillat mincha, right? In order to understand what is mincha and why is it so important throughout the entire day. There's two different times for mincha, whether it's going to be mincha gedolah, mincha ktana. Mincha gedolah is from 9.5 hours into it says it's basically going to be from the nighttime. So mincha ktana is going to be 9.5 until the nighttime, and mincha gedolah is going to be 6.5 into it. Really, it's supposed to be 6, but we added on the extra hour, and that's why half an hour after chatzot, that's when it starts mincha gedolah. Mincha ktana is going to be 9.5 into the day, and the reason for it was because the tamid shel ben arbaim, you could always bring lechat techila was brought 9.5 hours into the day, and that's why lechat techila you should always do mincha ketana, unless there's going to be a reason, and then you do mincha gedolah. Another incredible thing, if you actually pay attention, this entire siman, when it's going to be speaking about what is prohibited before mincha, also shows you the importance of the mincha, which means, right, before mincha, you're allowed to take a haircut, or you're allowed to have a big sudar, you're allowed to do all these things. Look how important it was that Tefillat mincha that they prohibited, right? They prohibited many different actions just to ensure that we actually say mincha in the proper time. The Tur brings down, Tefillat mincha is me'od tzarich lizair ba. You have to be very careful in the Tefillat mincha. But says the Bichalbo Amar Rav Huna, Leolam yizair adam et Tefillat mincha, sharei lo na'ana Eliyahu ela b'Tefillat mincha. So he comes and he says, a person should always be careful in Tefillat Mincha, but Zelionavi was only answered during the time of Tefillat Mincha. And the reason is because we know that in the morning, when a person wakes up, he prays immediately. He's even praying before he's occupied with anything else. So therefore, he doesn't even have his mind on anything. So it's very easy for him to pray. In the nighttime, the same thing. He comes home, he's available. But during the time of the mincha, when a person's busy and they're in the middle of their work or they're in the middle of their busy schedule, and now he has to put all his mind and concentration to pray to Hashem, so now lefum tzara agra, because it is so difficult for him, now here's the true reward. And therefore, if he does so, says the Tur scharo arbe meod, he gets a lot of reward. Right? The minhag of the Arizal was also to give tzedakah before tefillat mincha, because of the pasuk vani b'tzedek echzeh fanecha, and he would wash his hands beforehand, even though it was nothing known that he had any dirt on his hands. But again, this is so important about showing us. Now, when it speaks about that you have to pray the time of the mincha, here the Piskei Teshuvah brings down, right, uvet Tzibbur. You have to pray mincha. It's not just enough. I'm going to pray mincha. Yeah, I'm going to pray mincha, but I'm going to pray mincha at home. It says in order to work. It says b'tzibur. The Mishambra and Siman Tzadi Sivkat Numbet says tochachat meguleh leotan anashim. This is a great rebuke to those people that they are in the city umitatzlim lalecha lebet hakneset, and they are lazy to go to the bet hakneset litpalel mincha ve'arvit, to come and pray mincha and arvit. Why? Because they think, oh, you know what? Okay, I was there shachrit, right? I was there already. I prayed. I even did shachrit lechatechila. I did the nets, the mitzvah minuvchar. No, he says it's a tochachat meguleh, and then the Pele Yuet says minchat the tefillat mincha im makpid litpalel betzibur. He says if you're going to be makpid to pray betzibur, nivchan bekach avato l'Hashem yitbarach. You want a litmus test. You want a test to show if you love Hashem or not. Says the Pele Yuet, if you're makpid litpalel betzibur, right? We're talking about tefillat mincha. Im makpid litpalel betzibur, nivchan bekach. You have the mivchan. This is the test. Avatol Hashem Yitbarach, the true love that you have for Hashem Yitbarach. And the Yisod V'Shoresh Avodah Shani brings down, he's mochiach, that even the people that they live very far away from the Bet HaKnesset, shemezalzelim betfilat mincha ve'arvit, litpalel biyichidut, that they come and they're going to be mezalzel, they disgrace the tfilah of the mincha and arvit, that they're going to pray by themselves. Oy leota busha, woe to that embarrassment that they have. So here it just shows us how important it is that tfilat mincha and arvit that we have, that Baruch Hashem we have the zechut that we're able always to pray tefillah betzibur, bezat Hashem we should always be answered like Eliyahu Navi.